Castleton's been well, exactly what we frankly expected him to be.
It's going to be fun watching him and Tolu Smith go after it. Colin is a guy where you can throw him in the post, the mid-post, run a lot of action off him. He's very good when he gets double-teamed of identifying who's open. One thing I like what Florida has done, instead of just standing around waiting for him to deliver it, they're cutting, they're moving, they're creating open passing lanes so Colin can get it to him.
And I'm interested to see if a guy like Fudge can cut off of him. He got that headband last week. That play was big time. So
that's right.
We want to see some more of that. Fudge, keep cutting.
That's exactly right. Slay's headband of the week will be announced tonight on SEC Now after the game is over. Castleton, the reigning SEC player of the week. And then you got guys like Will Richard. You got the other guards for Todd Golden. Again, we've seen them play better of late. You saw the big second half Wednesday against A&M.
Will Richard shot better. They need him to make some shots. Kyle Lofton is a player that I think we looked at him to be a great floor general for this Florida team, and that's what he's done in the last couple of weeks.
And then on the other side, Mississippi State. What's DJ Jeffries' role have to be in getting this team back where it started this season?
Focus in on something that you do really, really well. Because he's a guy that plays at all three levels. You got to be able to do something real well in this game to help carry this team. And probably get guys in foul trouble because he goes off the dribble, get to the cup, get to the line, knock it down, giving them advantage.
He's a facility. I love DJ Jeffries. He reminds me of a shorter Antoine Walker. Can get you defensive rebounds. Now check it out, Dari. Check it out. He can start the break. He can pass, he can dish, and then he can yoke it on you.
Can he wiggle?
He doesn't have the wiggle yet.
Okay.
We don't know that he doesn't have it, but he hasn't shown it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect opportunity.
Yeah, exactly right.
He just got to make some shots.
Right. Need them to make shots. It's just a team
Shaquille Moore.
We know they can lock you down, but they got to make shots. Shaquille Moore coming off a big game, man.
Yeah, he was. And so against Texas A&M, Florida decided not to trap when they threw it down to the bigs of Texas A&M. So I'm curious now if they will with Tolu Smith.
All right, let's go earlier action of the day. Speaking of A&M, 7-game winning streak on the line at Kentucky. They're down 1 early. Look at Oscar Tshiebwe doing some work.
Good seal down low by the big fella, man.
He's right under the rim.
Yeah, don't get no lower. Great seal right there.
Scoreless in the first half was Oscar. He only played 10 minutes, got in foul trouble, but 7 points in the second. Finished with 7 and 17. Somehow that goes.
That's Moses Malone.
You got to get low. You got to push him out of there.
No, and get somebody in front of 3 guys, but you're in the wrong angle, people.
Kentucky's won 3 straight now after losing to Alabama and to South Carolina.
I got a little something for BBN in the late show tonight.
Okay, you do?
I got a little something for you, BBN.
You better listen up.
In Hog Nation, too. That's what I'm focusing on.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
A couple teams on the rise.
Is that going to be take your shot? Is that
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
take a shot.
End of the show. But hang on this for the whole show tonight when the game is over. Let's talk about this real quick. Kentucky, last 3 games. What's impressed you? What have they done?
The physicality. Them coming out with energy and playing the way they're supposed to play. This is what Cal expects out of these guys. Get up and down, play with energy, especially at home. After that South Carolina loss, things could have fell apart. You started to gather your team and get you guys rolling. Tshiebwe testing them, they answered.
So they are a defensive team. They've got to prioritize. They've got to realize this is what we're going to hang our hat on. They hold A&M to 67 points. That's winning basketball.
No doubt it is. And again, A&M's first loss in their last 8 games. First conference loss of the season. All right, what else happened? How about Auburn and South Carolina? Auburn's on a 4-game win streak since they lost to Georgia back on January 4th. South Carolina really struggling. Lost this week to Ole Miss. And how about that little dish? Huh?
Great baseball pass.
Working today, by the way.
It looked like Dan Quisenberry with the sidearm. You like it, Slay?
I like that baseball reference. Yes, sir.
Imagine trying to hit that thing back
no
today.
chance.
My goodness. And then Green again. Look at Green's day, by the way. All he did was 16 points, 12 assists. Janai Broome, a double-double, 27 and 11. Auburn is 6-1 in league play. How about Arkansas and Ole Miss? Heads up!
Sometimes you need to put a seatbelt on. That one right there, that's a free fall.
Coming at you fast, that's Miles Burns. Hogs up 1.
Needs some bench production.
Got it.
Pinion
Got it.
Didn't they? Huh? Joseph Pinion, and then Pinion again. 13 points in 22 minutes of
Pinion.
14. That's your opinion. 4-game losing streak over. I think to Hog Nation it felt like about 10. Jerry Stackhouse and Vanderbilt on the road against Georgia, a team they beat 3 times last season. Georgia on the break, but down by 10 up and under. Good. Make that Vandy. I said Georgia? No, Vandy on the break.
Yeah, Vandy was scoring it on, man. Shooting the lights out.
Lawrence. And then
now, this is a great pass. Catch and done.
Yeah, check that for trampoline. I need to examine that.
Check that for a down 3, last chance, Georgia. Jabri Abdul-Rahim. No, he had 21 in the game. He needed 24. Vanderbilt goes on the road, evens up their conference record, and Georgia's first home loss of the season. They were 10-0 at Stegman. Zakai Ziegler coming off that big performance against Mississippi State last week. Tennessee on the road against LSU. Ziegler had it working one more time.
Yes, he did, man. Leave them open. Let them go to the cup. It does not matter. Serve them up. Does it all. Ziegler for 3.
Hit a couple of threes as well.
You got to give him a headband for the week he's had.
You know what? I like his week.
Nominate him.
I like his week. He may be at the end nominee.
Yeah, really?
He had 12 and 10, 24 the other night.
He's nominated by Shooter for headband of the week.
Nominate them all, Derek.
Give everybody.
There's only one winner.
All right, here come the Bulldogs. I would hate the idea of having a team have to run down steps like Clemson football or Mississippi State basketball before a game. All right, welcome back in studio here. Dari Slay Shooter. We got one more game coming up. 6 are completed in the SEC, and Florida, Mississippi State moments away. We're going to get you down to the hump as we start to look ahead a little bit here. Slay, I'm going to make you Mississippi State.
Okay.
You've lost 6 out of 7. Mm-hmm. What's the recipe, to borrow your favorite word, what's the recipe for a home win here against Florida?
Show these teams what the hump is about. We need electricity from the crowd and everything. All of these guys got to get involved, but you got to give them something to cheer for. So
that's right.
You feed them, they feed you, and you get them out of there. It's easy.
We know Mississippi State is an inside-out type team. They dominate the glass. I want to see how they defend Colin Castleton. Double team coming from the baseline. If you do that, Mississippi State, you got to rotate because Alex Fudge has figured out how to cut and move. And Florida's shooting the ball a lot better.
Yeah. What did you see from Florida? You talked to Todd Golden, and I know these again miserable first half at A&M, 12 points. We know that, but it's the team's better than that, and they showed that in the last half.
So Myron Jones in the last 3 weeks has played his best basketball since he's been in a Florida-gated jersey, and it gives them another ball handler, so they're taking care of the basketball better with Kyle Lofton, Myron Jones, and what the issue they had was their half-court offense. It just wasn't fluid. But now you add in another ball handler, they're getting better shots each time down the floor, so I think that's a big difference.
I think get some transition buckets, and then it'll be simple for you. It's real simple.
When it's all over again, a full SEC now. We got Ron Slay's headband of the week. We got Take Your Shot, which is aimed towards Big Blue Nation, you say?
Jacket's getting a little tight.
Yeah. That's just dinner.
Put that
all right.
Put that away.
There goes a button.
I put it away.
Welcome live to Starkville as we close out a critical week in the SEC. It's the Florida Gators coming off another close loss on Wednesday night, taking on the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, desperate. Yep, I said desperate for a win to try to get back into the mix. It's Saturday night in Starkville. Where else would you want to be, especially since it's raining cats and dogs outside? I'd rather be no place else than with my friend, Razorback and NBA champion Joe Klein. I'm Paul Sunderland. This is going to be your kind of game because it's going to be decided in the paint, although the respective centers go about it a little differently.
Yeah, this game of basketball nowadays, Paul, is outside in, but tonight, thank you, Jesus.
Your prayers have been answered.
We got a little inside out going. We got 2 really good players, and Colin Castleton and Tolu Smith, and it's going to be interesting to see how these teams defend each other. Look for Mississippi State to bring the double team to Castleton, and Castleton to play a little more one-on-one with his shot blocking ability against Tolu Smith. Either way, it's going to be really interesting.
Numbers are so efficient. Castleton leads the way also in assists in SEC play. Block shots goes without saying. But the struggle for Tolu Smith and for the Bulldogs in general has been at the charity stripe. It has not been nice to them at all, particularly Tolu Smith really struggling, just 18 of 45. 18 of 45 from the free throw line. It's been a Mississippi State. Florida comes in at 10-8. You saw 3-3 overall coming off a loss at A&M. They have lost all 3 of their losses in the SEC are by a total of 8 points. They lost 54-52 at A&M.
Yeah, Coach Golden, one of the first things he said, a couple shots made here or there, and they're looking at 5-1. So it's a team that's probably not as happy with the record, but very confident.
Tolu Smith getting a chance to go one-on-one in there, banging inside, Joe Klein style. Up and under, not there. Good work on the putback, Tolu Smith in the book.
Now, if they allow him to put that ball on the deck 2-3 times and get that deep, that's going to be a problem. I don't care what kind of shot blocker you are, that's a problem.
Students back on campus, and you can hear them loud and clear.
Both teams very good defensively. See a lot of hands. The rotations defensively are going to be huge tonight, with the teams really driving it and throwing it inside.
Really good possession defensively for Mississippi State, and one of the things that their first-year head coach Chris Jans talked about. Nice block out, easy defensive rebound.
He talked it over and over again. They finished the defensive possession with a rebound, with something that they've struggled a little bit with.
Tolu Smith got away with a travel. Todd Golden also in his first year coming over after 3 very successful seasons at USF. Not South Florida, but the University of San Francisco. Attack of the basket missed that time by Alex Fudge in Mississippi State. Here's Cameron Matthews, an outstanding looking athlete. Good pass inside and rejected, but a good little drop inside to Tolu Smith.
Well, boy, I tell you one thing, Paul, you and I were talking about it. If you lose Cameron Smith, you know where he's going. He's a downhill driver. He looks like a middle linebacker for the football team instead of the basketball team, but he is coming to the rim every time, every opportunity he gets.
And it's been a really tough go for Mississippi State. After starting the season at 11-0, they've now lost 6 of 7, and Cameron Matthews is really one of their outstanding leaders, both vocally and by example. At the free throw line, and that is a nice, you hear that little exhale in the building here at the Humphrey Coliseum in Starkville.
Boy, I got quiet. Felt like a free throw in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Tolu Smith shooting 53% so far on the year. He's gotten to the line now 128 times. That's 7 per game. He's getting there a lot, just not making nearly enough.
Yeah, for them to get off the snide, he's really going to have to start converting those free throws, because he touches it almost every time down the floor offensively.
And already given him a couple of one-on-one opportunities. Step back by Colin Castleton, averaging 15 points per game. They started his career at the University of Michigan out of DeLand, Florida. Jeffries not even close on the quick three-pointer. That was very early in the clock. Richard, speaking about early in the clock, so back-to-back jumpers. That one from distance by number 5. Will Richard shooting 41% from three-point range.
And I think you're going to have to see Florida against this very good Mississippi State defense to get some stuff in transition, get some stuff off of turnovers so that they don't have to play against this defense.
What do you think about, I know it's early, but what about that shot selection against Florida's pressure? Was that way too early?
That's not his shot. He's a back-to-the-basket guy. He wants to play downhill. Didn't like that at all. How about Castleton raising it for 3? Boy, that looked good.
He looked very, very comfortable. Shot clock again winding down. Lofton had some space and scored it right at the front of the rim. Number 11 in blue for Florida.
Again, having good success working the ball, getting it a little inside out. Really good start offensively for Florida.
Smith off the block a little bit. Castleton did his work early.
Now, this is his game right there. That's how he's got to play.
Quick 8-0 run by the Gators. Fudge and another. Wow. Knocking down three-point shots, and an early and needed timeout called by Mississippi State. An 11-0 run after Tolu Smith got the first basket and made a free throw as well. But now the Florida Gators out on the road. A quick run.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, they're playing back off him, letting him get his rhythm, letting him get comfortable. Again, these guys are Division I players. I mean, you let a guy just line up a horse shot, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
I'll tell you, it's a different day. On Wednesday night, Florida could not make a shot at all in College Station. But here, they've already knocked down a couple of threes. Back in Starkville, Mississippi once again, SEC college basketball closing out a very interesting day. We'll recap some of the scores. And of course, Peter Burns will be in the studio with the guys and have all of that for you at halftime. Back with Joe Klein, I'm Paul Sunderland. Florida 11-0 run, 5 possessions. And boy, have they been shooting the lights out from distance.
Boy, the ball movement has been good, but the three-point shots they've taken have been comfortable in rhythm. Not a lot of heat on the ball, and you can see that the percentages they're shooting, 4 for 6, 3 for 4 early on. I mean, this Mississippi State team prides itself defensively. It's a top 15 defensive efficiency team in the country, but so is Florida. And again, whoever can make some shots tonight is going to put a lot of pressure on the other team, because both teams are very capable of driving it and playing inside out, as we talked about.
What have you seen so far on the individual matchup? Tolu Smith working on Castleton.
Well, I love the first time he got the ball. He took it really deep, and then after that, it seems like everything else he shot, he's gotten pretty good shots, pretty good position, but he's been in a hurry, and that's what Castleton or any shot blocker will do to you. You're worried about him getting it over him, and you shoot it a little quicker than you should.
Shot clock winding down. Good ball movement, unselfish play, and Tyler Stevenson, 6'8", graduate out of Columbus, Mississippi, transfer from Southern Miss on the floor for the first time, along with number 13, Will McNair Jr.
That's how Mississippi State's got to play. They got to attack, probe, move the ball, look for guys getting open shots.
Castleton, a long two-pointer and a battle down inside, and going to stay at the floor to end. That foul will go against Stevenson. His first, 15:37 remaining, and Florida shooting the ball very well so far, particularly from distance.
Paul, you can see here again, it's not anything mind-boggling, but it's penetration, and it gets guys looking at the ball. You lose sight of a guy stepping into the lane. He gets a little 12-footer.
Deshaun Davis with a nice assist. Wearing number 10 in white. A whistle there, still at the floor to end. But back to Davis, the 6'2", 195-pound senior out of Bronx, New York, transfer from Oregon State, led the Pac-12 in assists last season.
And all these guards from Mississippi State, Moore, Davis, Reed, a little bit smaller, good build, good strong, downhill players, really trying to get into the lane. But on the defensive end, you might see what we're seeing a little bit right now against the little bit taller, longer Florida guards. First 5 minutes of this game, they're having their way of getting in the paint, shooting over the top of them.
Alex Fudge wearing number 3 in blue, the transfer from LSU, originally from Jacksonville, Florida. Good on the first and misses the second of 2 free throws, at 79% so far on the year. Schedule makers were not the very best friends in the SEC for Mississippi State. They have played the toughest schedule so far. A little drop pass down inside. Ball was kicked, so the shot clock will reset to 20.
Yeah, their conference schedule to start off the season is number 1 in the Ken Palm analytical data. They have the number 1 strength of schedule through the first 6 games, and the gauntlet that they've gone through leaves a little margin for error. I think that's where you've seen their record be 1-5. I mean, they haven't played awful, but you have a couple bad shooting nights against really good teams. You don't convert free throws, and you're going to be 1-5.
Matthews about 30 feet from the basket, exposed a little bit and traveled. Just speaking of the schedule, and oh, by the way, there's some pretty good teams in the SEC.
Yeah.
Alabama at Tennessee, the win at Ole Miss. Then Georgia, Auburn, and then Tennessee again the other night. That was a 70-59 loss, and Tennessee was shorthanded in that one. A frustrating night for Mississippi State. No Santiago Vescovi in that one. But the pressure applied by Shaquille Moore, coming off his best game of the season, albeit in a loss to the aforementioned Volunteers.
Yeah, he comes off the bench and he brings you some juice at both ends.
Kawasi Reeves, number 14 in blue, missed there, and Matthews with the rebound.
Again, they got to get this ball swinging side to side, get some downhill drives, play off the kick.
Rhythm, Shaquille Moore, 6'1" junior out of Greensboro, North Carolina, had 20 on Tuesday night in the loss.
Came off up that pick and roll, came off clean, 15-foot wide open shot.
Castleton is a very willing passer. Good defensive board. Nobody there in blue. Boy, did they just bail out to get back defensively. Fudge off the turnover, attacking, throws one up, tries to draw the contact, and will be rewarded. McNair helps him off the floor, and will be 2 free throws coming to Fudge, number 3 in blue.
And again, that's where Mississippi State has got to really, you want to push it because you struggle to score, so you're looking to try to get something easy, trying to get something to where you don't have to play against a set defense, but you got to pick and choose. You can't jump up in the air and try to float a ball into a crowded area, because possessions are at a premium in this game. And you get Florida at the free throw line, you get Florida in transition, they're going to be able to score 75, 80 points.
I want to remind you, tomorrow afternoon, the 12th annual We Bat Pat Week continues with women's basketball tripleheader that starts with these 2 games right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Kentucky squares off against Mississippi State at 1 Eastern, noon Central. Then Georgia takes on Texas A&M, and we are so happy and proud for as long as it takes to be associated with the We Back Pat initiative that brings awareness to the Pat Summitt Foundation and Alzheimer's disease. Florida leading at 13-7, just under 14 minutes remaining in the opening half. Moore again, good attack of the basket, and very vertical. Fudge was right at the rim.
Fudge is a long, tall drink of water, 7-foot wingspan. It's going to be tough to get it over him.
Cagle with the offensive rebound. Kowacie Reeves on the miss. Castleton jump stop, looking for a travel. The student section, but it's going to be a held ball, and on a possession arrow, the ball will stay with the Gators 12 to shoot.
And that's where he's so good. I know he got caught in a jump ball, but he can really maneuver with the ball for a guy his size. He took it from almost a 3-point lane and maneuvered himself into the lane for an easy jump hook, and that's where Mississippi State's going to, if they allow him to do that, they got to bring the double team.
14-13 the other night at Texas A&M. Very low-scoring affair to go along with 6 blocks. Already has 58 on the year. He had 62 last season. Against the shot clock, off the back of the iron. Good block out that time by Stevenson.
They brought the double team early, got the shot they wanted, finished the possession.
DJ Jeffries, who averages just about 10 points per game, number 0 in white. Hadn't really had many touches so far, and he's a talented offensive player.
Yeah, again, you'd like to see A&M, not A&M, Mississippi State, maroon, a lot of maroon in here tonight.
Well, I mentioned College Station a minute ago. I dragged you right into that.
Yeah, it's your fault.
It is. It's always my fault.
But their first initiative needs to be downhill. Get to the lane, draw, then kick.
McNair right at the front of the rim. That's a nice play offensively. Will McNair, who came over with Chris Jans from New Mexico State.
Did you see how patient he was? He really gathered himself. He didn't hurry. And that's what Tolu's got to do. Tolu was doing all those same things, but right at the end, he's pushing it. Good shot by McNair.
Nice cut that time by Moore. Myron Jones out of Birmingham, Alabama, going to the open spot.
You better know where your man is when Castleton has the ball. He is a willing and very good passer.
Shaquille Moore just helping off just a little bit and gave some space that time to Jones for his basket. Crowd wanted a foul, and I agree.
Yeah, he had his hands in the middle, and it looked like he got 2 hands on the back.
It's going to be an offensive foul. Nice unselfish play at the defensive end by number 11, Eric Reed Jr. That is the second personal foul on Fudge. We'll step aside here in Starkville. The Florida Gators on top, 17-9. The SEC Big 12 Challenge, the Sonic Blockbuster. There are a couple of pretty good teams on each side of that equation. How about Kansas and TCU today? TCU has really added a lot to the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a team. They got a little Jekyll and Hyde going on, but boy, they got some players, and when they get it together, but to do that to Kansas, in Kansas, I mean, That's quite an accomplishment.
No question.
Kansas, as we all know and have seen, is loaded, and that's their second loss in a row in the Big 12 for the Jayhawks. So they're reeling a little bit. See if they can get it going. Sure they will.
Tolu Smith coming back on after sitting for a little while in place of Will McNair. 1 for 5. He's certainly getting his opportunities against Castleton, but not an easy task. Castleton, good solid defender. He is stout enough and strong enough. Castleton on the sideline right now, replaced by Jason Jatobo, wearing number 33 in blue, and some full court pressure. There's going to be another kick, and the shot clock will be at 20. After going 2 for 26 the other night at Texas, yes, 2 for 26 in the first half. Florida shooting a very nice clip, 46% so far in the opening half. Mississippi State struggling at 33%.
They got to feel like the Golden State Warriors first 9 minutes of this game compared to the other night.
Absolutely.
They were struggling. I like what they're doing, getting Tolu in the pick and roll and rolling him right to the rim. Good job. Got to finish, though.
100%. You can't run it any better. You can't get a better shot right at point blank range. Tolu Smith got to finish that. Lofton ball in his hands for a long time. Kugel looking inside. Now off the dribble. Boy, got right to the rim. That just opened up like the Red Sea.
Yeah, you got to have better defense on the ball than that. There's a straight line drive, and big fella from Florida in there posting up, set a screen. And there you go. I mean, the patience there. Good balance. Looked to the left, came back to the right, got his feet under him, went up and stroked it. A lot of the shots he's missed tonight have not been affected because of the defense. It's because he's been in a hurry.
Kugel, step back dribble there, and nice strong rebound. All white jerseys inside. Florida really abandoning the offensive glass to get back in transition. Jeffries still pretty quiet. Matthews. There's Jeffries number 0, averages 9 points per game. Tolu Smith able to draw the foul on Jatobo.
Tolu Smith's a big guy, but boy, he put his shoulder into Jatobo. He bounced off him like it was going into a brick wall.
It's just the third team foul with 9:49 remaining, and I say that because it's been awfully physical down in the post, and for Florida to be sitting there on only 3 team fouls is pretty good for the Gators. Moore, very nice rhythm offensively. Boy, he is doing a job at the offensive end. Shaq Moore, number 3.
And then getting into the lane and seeing the crowd coming and getting both feet underneath them, raising up under control for the nice little, little floater.
Nice kick, Richard wide open. Boy, they're doing a good job. Lofton got a paint touch and then kicked it out for 3.
You said it, Paul, right there. The previous 2 possessions, no paint touch, kind of forcing up some long-range jumpers. When they get penetration, those jump shots are a lot more open. Rhythm jumpers, knocking them down.
Florida now 4 of 9 from 3-point range, and that's going to be an offensive foul. Jatobo giving Colin Castleton, who's coming back on now, a little bit of a breather and taking some blows inside.
I don't know about this one, Paul. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're from California. You're close to the Oscars and the Golden Globes. What do you think?
I think that was mainly a flop, and I thought that should have been a no call. And the officials and college basketball, particularly on the men's side, have really done a good job of going after flops and flopping. It used to be a warning, now it's an immediate technical foul. Jatobo in good position, but I think he's a 300-pounder. He doesn't go down that easy. You never went down that easy in your 15 years in the NBA ever.
Yeah, I had a lot bigger guys than him.
100%. Yeah, Moses Malone kind of packed a wallop, didn't he, among others?
Shaq was no...
Oh, my gosh. Well, you know, I did
That's
the
like
Lakers
a freight train coming at you.
Yeah, I did the NBA for 20 years and did the Lakers exclusively for 6 or 7. And some of the sounds inside when Shaq put his shoulder down, you just would cringe.
Paul, I'm telling you, I try to. He's a guy, when people ask what was he like, and you try to describe guarding him, you couldn't describe it. I mean, you can't. I mean, because he could move. I mean, he was so big and strong, but my gosh, he could spin and run and do all these athletic things. It was just an awful feeling to seeing him coming down the floor, and you were responsible.
He could deliver a blow, no question about that. Good stop by Mississippi State, trailing it now 22-13. Really good entry pass. Good work by Tolu Smith. You got to finish. Finish it, and the foul.
Speaking of Moses Malone, got a little Moses Malone going on right there. I mean, miss, get your own rebound, miss, get your own rebound, and put it in. That's vintage Moses Malone there. Smith's got to finish those, though, because he's not going to be able to get those the rest of the night. But good position by him, good stick-to-itiveness, and then finishing it on the third try.
And Tolu Smith padding his rebound stats already at 4.
Yeah.
He'd rather not. He'd rather finish immediately. But now to the free throw line.
And sometimes against a guy who's kind of trying to block shots, those are opportunities you can get because he's going to challenge your shot. And if you can get down and get back up, you have an opportunity to get some of those back, as we just saw.
Eight minutes remaining in the opening half. Florida trailed early, but then went on 11-0 run. Boy, that is nice offense by Castleton.
Really like the rhythm of that little floater he shot there. It was just catch 1, 2, and letting it go. Really good rhythm.
So versatile when you look at his numbers. He just stuffs the stat sheet, but boy, he's shown us a three-point shot, a face-up jumper, and then now a nice move in the post. Good ball movement. Castleton doubled, kicks away from it. Richard, another 3.
And that's where he is so dangerous, because if you come double team him, you've got to get your hands up and you got to make that pass that he just made to the other side of the floor go up in the air so you have time to recover. He was able to throw a straight line pass to the other side of the floor. No chance to recover on that.
Davis looking to go off the dribble. Tough shot, heartbreak, in and out. And Cagle high for the rebound. And Castleton, after the assist, when he was running back, there was nobody in this building happier than he was after he dished the ball cross court out of the double.
He's a good passer and a willing passer. That's dangerous if you're getting the ball in the post.
Lead is 12. Castleton again off the front of the iron, and Cameron Matthews, number 4 in white, with the rebound.
Mississippi State's going to have to make a decision if they keep shooting the ball like this. And when I say they, I mean Florida. Are you going to keep coming at Castleton, or are you going to back off and see if you can play him one-on-one?
I'll tell you one thing I've noticed. Florida, you know, we talk about Alabama and their length and athleticism. Florida's a very capable defensive team, and they've shown that. Wild shot. That is not his shot. Good defense and standing his ground by number 12, Castleton.
And that's just Castleton's presence right there. He didn't really do anything but just stay in front of him. Tolu Smith has got to get his feet under him, feel his feet under him, and jump. He's just shooting the ball with his arm, trying to quick shoot it.
Lofton with a very nice pass. Castleton should have finished that, and he knows it. Davis wide open on the weak side. Three-pointer rims in and out. Tolu Smith right there for the putback.
He's working. I mean, he's having a tough time, but you can't fault his effort. I mean, he's getting in there and he's banging and he's working.
We talked to Chris Jans earlier today at Mississippi State shoot-around about Tolu Smith and his struggles at the free throw line. Smith is trying everything. It's not for, as you said so rightly, it's not for lack of effort. The young man desperately wants to help his team.
Usually guys who struggle at the free throw line care a little too much. They worry about the miss. Got to let it go.
Battle at the defensive end. Nothing new in the SEC this year. 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining, and the lead is 10. Reed Off the side of the iron, and good rebound by Castleton, who averages just about 8. And he's got some handles.
Look out.
Oh, look out below. Yeah, that had trouble with a capital T written all over it, but he's showing you some of the athletic and basketball ability that number 12, Colin Castleton, has as he picks up the personal foul. We'll step aside. Florida leading by 10. Welcome back once again to college basketball, coming your way on the SEC Network from Starkville, Florida, on top 27-17. Colin Castleton can do just about everything on a basketball floor. He can rebound, he can shoot, he can block shots, but I don't know about this one.
Paul, about right at the other end free throw line, the coach is like, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Please give it up. Well, but Florida has. They've got 8 assists so far here in the first half with 4:55 remaining, and that has led to a lot of really good looks from outside the arc.
Well, and it's the ball movement, and again, a rhythm 3, no pressure. Again, a rhythm 3, a rhythm 3. I mean, again, these are Division I players. Again, you give them that kind of space and let them get their feet under them and get comfortable, they're going to knock down a good percentage, and they have.
Florida's taken 10 threes. They've made 5 of those. They average 7 threes per game. They're already way above, or well on the way above that average. There is more. Nice feel offensively. Looking for somewhere to go. The transfer from North Carolina State on the floor. Keyshawn Murphy, 6'10" freshman out of Birmingham. Long range shot, long rebound, and kicked ahead quickly. That is really good fast break basketball, and a nice kick ahead by Myron Jones.
Just not the shot you want if you're Mississippi State. From a guy coming in right off the bench, shooting a late shot clock 3 with no real penetration, leads to an easy basket for Florida.
McNair back on for Tolu Smith. And DJ Jeffries trying to track that one down, and a turnover. Jeffries so far, we've talked about it, very quiet so far, and Mississippi State struggles to score. They need Jeffries to get going. We'll step aside once again. Florida on top by a dozen.
Dari Slayton shooter, we'll see you in just a few minutes at the half, and we'll show you how about double-double for Alabama freshman, but not who you might be thinking. We'll take you all around the SEC, a full day on the schedule. So far, Florida, so good.
Shooting the ball really well. 3 guys stepping up, Castleton, Fudge, and Richards.
Yeah, we knew you could depend on Tolu Smith. Got to get something from somewhere else. So.
Yeah. All right, Paul, see you in a bit.
Thank you very much. We'll see you once again at halftime, and exactly right. Got to get something. Tolu Smith has been working as hard as he can, but DJ Jeffries so far on a bagel so far on the night, and they certainly need his offense.
Really liked it when they got Tolu Smith in the pick and roll a little bit more, got the bigs engaged a little bit in the pick and roll, and it seemed like they were able to get a little better ball movement, a little better penetration. We'd like to see a little more of that maybe down the stretch here.
Jatobo back on. He and Colin Castleton have done a very nice job of holding their ground against Smith. Spin down inside, that missed by Lofton, who got right to the rim. Offensive rebound, and Jatobo, look what I found.
Yeah, McNair having to help and challenge shots. Other guys got to rotate in there and get a body on that big guy or knock it out of there. Not very good rotation by Mississippi State.
Florida's done such a good job sharing the ball. 12 baskets on the night, 9 of them have been assisted. Shot clock at 7. Here comes Moore. Floater not there. Jatobo had it deflected away, and Florida comes away with a basketball.
It's just hard for a 6-foot guard to shoot that over a 7-footer trying to shoot a floater. Tough shot.
Davis after the steal, the run out. Wow, that looked like a goaltend, but what a play. And quickly to the other end. That was a highlight play. And what a block by number 3, Alex Fudge.
Man, that's some athleticism there and some length. He closed. It looked like that was an easy layup. He closed that gap real quick.
Well, you mentioned a 7-foot wingspan. Yeah. Well, he used every centimeter of it that time on the rejection. That was a spectacular play. McNair, nicely done. Good finish right at the front of the rim.
If Tolu Smith is watching that, look how deliberate and patient McNair was. I mean, and that's what you got to do.
Well, Joe, you played at the highest level. Oh, look out below, and there's going to be a foul. But I want to ask you, because you expend so much strength and energy getting to your spot on the floor, but how then do you transfer that into being a relaxed shot maker?
Well, what you got to do, you read. And what you're seeing McNair do, he wants to go left shoulder. And he's going to try to go left shoulder with that right-hand jump hook, and he's going to maneuver and work himself, and the defender's going to tell you what to do. Either he's going to get up on that shoulder, and now you spin back the other way, or he's going to let you keep, we used to call crab dribbling right into that lane and do what McNair's doing. Djibouti is not taking anything, not taking that left shoulder away. It's a deep post up. It's an easy little bunny in the lane.
Free throw still coming Friday night. What a gymnastics triple header we have for you right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Number 11 Georgia, the Gym Dogs, and number 2 Florida get things started at 6 Eastern. Then it's off to Lexington for number 11 Alabama and number 9 ranked Kentucky. And we wrap up the night with number 13 LSU at the Barn in Fayetteville to take on number 25 Arkansas. What a top 25 gymnastics lineup. Turnaround jump shot not there. We got to get another look at that block by Alex Fudge, who came away with the rebound. Nice ball fake. Jitobo just a little bit low for him. Alex Fudge, 6'9" sophomore transfer from LSU.
This is looking like, man, I got me an easy 2. Oh, wait a minute.
He took off, straddling the restricted area. That is a spectacular play by number 3 in blue. 1:46 remaining, and Florida leading it by 14. Nice steal once again. Here comes Jeffries. Look out. Where's Fudge? Oh, that'll solve it.
And that's what they've been looking for. This guy can be electric. He's athletic. He's got bounce. He can guard on the defensive end. And these are the kind of baskets and plays that you got to have from a team if you're struggling to score points.
Alex Fudge just picked up his 3rd personal foul, and if you don't want to get your shot blocked, then sky into the night here at Humphrey Coliseum and throw it down. Maybe that'll get Jeffries going, and certainly Mississippi State could use it. Todd Golden having a very nice conversation with as many officials who pay attention. Say, well, wait a minute, he didn't touch him. Or at least that's his contention.
The life of a coach. He got such great points, and nobody wants to listen.
Todd Golden, the 2nd youngest coach in Division I, or I should say Power 5 basketball, not Division I, but Power 5. John Shire is a few months younger, the first-year head coach over at Duke, just 37 years of age. I've got shoes older than that.
Mississippi State trying to turn up the heat a little bit defensively to help their offense.
Biggest lead was 14. Shot clock at 4. Got to watch for Richard. Number 5, good 3-point shooter. Here comes Lofton, loses the handle. Good no call. And that's going to be a shot clock violation. 1:10 remaining. Maybe 2 possessions, and Mississippi State try to get it into single digits. Timeout is called by Florida. Try to reset things a little bit, get back into a good rhythm, maybe to get Castleton back on the floor.
I think it's a use it or lose it timeout, and Golden felt things switching a little bit here. Wanted to call that timeout to kind of right the ship a little bit right before half, hopefully.
The Vandy men's team is part of the SEC Tuesday night doubleheader next week, and hasn't Vanderbilt been an interesting story? Big win today. They'll host Oscar Tshiebwe. Speaking of stories, in Kentucky at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, at historic Memorial Gymnasium in Nashville. The Commodores are now 10-9 and 3-3 in the SEC. So certainly an important one for both. What's turned it around for Kentucky? Because they were losing their minds in Lexington.
Well, their defense was horrendous until the last 3 games. They have really toned it up defensively. They're able to get some stops, which has enabled them to get out and run a little bit. And then when they have to play in the half court, Tshiebwe's been fantastic the last 3 games.
Kentucky a win over Texas A&M. Another wonderful story for Buzz Williams Texas A&M, the Aggies, their first loss so far in conference play. There is Matthews.
He's coming.
Crowd back involved. Freight train coming.
Yeah. You don't know where he is. I can tell you where he's coming.
And where he's going to finish.
Yeah.
Riley Kugel back on the floor, number 24. 40 seconds remaining in the opening half. Good push by Mississippi State to get it to single digits. Well, I don't know if you like that shot. You can get that shot anytime you want it. Jones lost the handle. Kick outside to Lofton. Looking at a three-pointer, rattles in and out.
Not sure I like either one of those.
Exactly. I agree with you. Got to get out of the lane. Plenty of time. Slow down. Plenty of time. Big possession here for the Bulldogs. Working downhill. Lays it up. That shot, no foul. Mississippi State certainly wanted a foul there. And the half has expired. And it is a 33-24 advantage. And Chris Jan says, wait a minute, you didn't see a thing, but going into the locker room with a little bit of momentum are the Mississippi State Bulldogs on a 7-0 run. Another look. Nice exclamation point for the first 20 minutes. Halftime here in Starkville, 33-24. Now let's send it to the studio at Darinoka.
Well, that was an eventful last minute or so, last couple minutes of the half. Slay's over here trying to figure out, I don't know where I'm going to get my headband to. We'll figure it out. Dari Slay shoot a Kentucky A&M big-time game. Kentucky trying to give A&M their first conference loss. And Oscar Tshiebwe, after the 37-24 game he had Tuesday, 7 points, all in the second half. Did have 17 rebounds, and Kentucky's won 3 in a row now, guys.
What a pedestrian effort by Tshiebwe to go get 17.
Yeah.
I can't believe
he was bored. He was foul trouble.
Oh, he was bored, all right.
Yes, he was.
He was bored, and that's a good point. That's a good point. B-O-A-R-D. Yes, indeed. Alabama and Missouri. Bama on a run themselves, undefeated in conference play. Missouri, no Kobe Brown. And look at this. We had a turnover, then another turnover, and then a little excitement.
Easy 2 of the night. Easiest 2 of the night for the young man.
They get in transition. They beat you in the half-court offense. Yeah. What don't they
Brandon
do?
Miller had 15. He averages 20 a game coming in, and then that's the little gift to Noah Gurley, another fabulous freshman. Or it says Gurley, but I'm going to go Clowney if I could. Okay, there we go. 17.
Even though.
No, that was actually Gurley. That was Gurley.
Yeah.
All right.
They both.
I'm all confused.
Everybody scores.
Everybody, another 85 points, 85-64. I think we would love to have seen them fully healthy, but frankly, we didn't get to see them fully healthy.
Amari Burnett is back
with Kobe Brown.
Alabama, sure, yeah.
Yes, we wanted to see Kobe Brown. Didn't get Kobe Brown. Not sure exactly how long he is going to be out. All right, so let's get into this a little bit. Kentucky takes care of business again. 3 straight games. They seem to have it rolling after all that concern there in Big Blue Nation.
It's very simple for me. The last 3 victories, Kentucky's held their opponent to 64 points per game. They have taken care of and tightened up their defense. And then their shooters, Reeves and Frederick, made 7 threes tonight. So they're getting it, the combination of their defense and some help shooting the basketball. They made 11, which they don't typically not going to do, but they get your shooters shooting well. That's a good thing.
Absolutely right. I agree with you on everything, shooter. I'm leaving it alone. Leave it alone.
Then let's go to Alabama. There's a lot of talk. Is that the best team in college basketball? Is it in your estimation?
I'm going to have to say yes. I'm going to be honest. Like, if not, they're top 3 for sure, without question. You got guys that can separate everything, especially in a guy like Brandon Miller. But then you got Noah Clowney coming out getting a double-double. Quinterly finally getting his legs up on the roof. Remember, the ACL wasn't too long ago, so he's getting back from that. It's serious when you can get guys to play like that on the road. It's tough on the road. You go in there. Como's a tough place to play. They went in there and handled business.
Yeah,
now, granted, it was our Kobe, but
Yeah.
still, this is what they've been doing all season.
Yeah. And by the way, Noah Clowney did have 17 and 14. So Miller-Clowney, it's just an incredible duo for Alabama. All right, how about the game we're watching right now? Florida up 33-24. We talked about it before the game, and you threw out 3 names of guys you needed to see produce. One is Will Richard, one's Colin Castleton, one is Alex Fudge. 9, 7, and 7 right now, those 3.
All delivering. You need those guys to play well, especially, like I just said, on the road. But to have something, a core that you can lean on, you get 3 guys like that consistently, you'll be okay going forward.
Well, we talked about how Florida wants to play through Colin Castleton, similar with Tolu Smith. Tolu is giving you everything you want if you Mississippi State. I do think at times Mississippi State, if they can get in transition, right, because they're a really good defensive team, obviously a good rebounding team. Slee, if they can get a few buckets before that Florida defense sets up, that's going to help their offense go a long way, man.
It would. If they can play like they did that last minute and give some exciting plays, dunks on people.
You got to run,
Oh,
man.
You got to get out and run.
Get those knees up. Get those knees up. Get in transition.
You got to get stops to get out and run, no?
You remember Florida a few years ago when they
Right.
couldn't shoot? It was frustrating watching.
Yep.
That's Mississippi State right now. They cannot shoot.
Yep.
They are ice cold game after game. 0 for 5 from 3. They're 34%.
So you got to
Rims
generate
not
some
treating them
easy
nicely.
buckets in transition.
Exactly right. But they are on a 7-0 run to end the half. Meanwhile, Will Richard, how about 3 for 3 from 3? Florida's got 33. They're up now. Slay shooter Dari Auburn on the road at South Carolina looking for a 5th straight win. It would be a 6th straight over the Gamecocks for Auburn. How about that pass, huh? Wendell Green,
sidearm.
one of his 12 assists to that one to Alan Flanagan. They're up 23, and Wendell Green wasn't just dishing the ball; he was also scoring the ball. 16 points with those 12 assists. Auburn up 72-54. They are 6-1 in conference play. Once again, it's the 3rd time under Bruce Pearl. They're at least 6-1 through 7 games in conference play. Tennessee on the road at LSU. Of course, Tennessee beat the Bulldogs team we were watching tonight last week. Zakai Ziegler at 24 in that game.
Could be up for SEC Player of the Week.
Could.
Yes, he
Could.
could.
Big game distributing it today.
A dozen points today for ZZ Top, but he did have 10 assists. Yes, he did.
Yeah, settling into that role, pushing pace, when to go get his, and leading this team for Tennessee.
Yeah, they roll by 21, and LSU's slide continues.
No!
Alex!
Block party. Bring the cups to
All right, back with you, getting closer to tipping off the second half at the Hump. Arkansas home for Ole Miss. Razorbacks have lost 4 in a row, and Miles Burns couldn't care less.
Wow.
Well, that was a careless pass, and that's what happens.
Man, he was careless to the rim. The rim didn't do nothing to you.
Kinds of carelessness.
But how about this?
Joseph
Found what they were missing.
Pinion.
Playing big, 13
Pinion.
points.
Yes, in 22 minutes. Pinion. Off the bench, 69-57. Razorbacks snapped their 4-game losing streak. Vanderbilt on the road at Georgia. Georgia's 10-0 at Stegman this year. How about this? Mike White, 17-1 all-time at Stegman. Doesn't matter who he's coaching. How about that, Tyron Lawrence?
Like that gym.
Vanderbilt 3-0 against Georgia last year.
Wow.
Yeah, add one more to that because despite the fabulousness of this window finish.
That's one of those passes you're like, no. Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's great.
What are you doing with yours? Good
Kidding
finish.
me? I mean, that was Terry Roberts with that Patrick Mahomes-like play.
I thought that was Stetson Bennett that jumped in.
Oh, Stetson Bennett.
Could have been.
85-22. Vanderbilt gets the win. Cam Matthews throw it down. 7-0 run going into the second half for the Dogs. Second half is what's next.
Saturday night in Starkville. Welcome back to college basketball coming your way on the SEC Network. At the break, Florida on the strength of a 16-0 run. Mississippi State answered back with 7-0 run of their own. It's a 9-point game. At the break, back with Joe Klein. I'm Paul Sunderland. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the opening 20.
Boy, you can see, Paul, they're getting some good, clean looks and a little bit of transition. But then this is what Mississippi State's got to do. They got to get some points off their defense. They got to turn up the heat and get some of these athletic guys going downhill. And again, Castleton off the good feed by Jones, just showing the nice touch and the floater. Florida playing at a very good clip offensively against a very good defensive team.
10 assists on 13 baskets. That's quality offensive basketball for Florida. I agree with you. We were talking about it at the break. Mississippi State may become with some full court pressure. Let's get back to the matchup we were talking about. Tolu Smith and Colin Castleton before the game, playing in the paint.
And you can see Castleton with not as many attempts, but a lot of those attempts by Tolu was him getting his own miss. So Castleton being very effective, really playing within the structure of the game. A lot of double teams coming at him, being very patient. Sometimes not getting the assist, but getting the hockey assist where it leads to the man being able to make a play. just playing a really solid all-around game at both ends. Castleton is.
Adjustment from Mississippi State against the good three-point shooting from Florida. Made 5 already. They average 7 on the year per game.
Well, as you can see when we showed the highlights, it's the type of threes that they made. Uncontested, rhythm, wide open threes. Got to get some heat on them.
Big factor right here, Alex Fudge, who had a highlight play in the first 20 minutes. A tremendous block shot. A little bit of contact there with the floor. Unfortunate to see that, but Fudge now with 4 personal fouls could certainly be a factor in this game.
Well, when you're playing Matthews, again, as we touched on and alluded to it early in the game, he's a downhill guy. If he squares you up, he's trying to get to that right hand, and Fudge then is just playing him square up, kind of lock kneed a little bit. He's going to get around you, and once he gets around you and gets that body on you, gets that shoulder on you, I mean, there's not a lot you can do. Big fella, strong, good finisher.
Very solid sportsmanship by the Bulldog fans here at Humphrey Coliseum, applauding Alex Fudge as he's back to his feet and leaving the floor. 6'9", slightly built, 200-pound sophomore out of Jacksonville, Florida. Transfer from LSU, averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds. Once again, Florida at 10-8 on the year, 3-3 in conference, coming off a 54-52 loss at Texas A&M. Florida has 3 losses in conference play by a grand total of 8 points. A shot here and a shot there. Their fine young head coach told us, Todd Golden, we could be 5-1 and right in the mix with all the elite teams in the conference. Alabama, the only undefeated right now. Oh. Nice play on the out of bounds. Beautiful play. Cameron Matthews on the backside.
Just a nice job stepping the big out and then get a little high back screen from Matthews. All you got to do is throw it up because he can go get it.
That's a 9-0 run as we go back to the 7-0 run to close out the first 20 minutes. Oh, good help defensively. Good reach in that time by Deshaun Davis, but he's going to be called for a foul. Foul was on number 10, Davis, a 6'2" senior out of Bronx, New York, the transfer from Oregon State. That is just his first personal. Again, Fudge on the sideline. We'll keep an eye on him after he had his head knocked to the floor. We hope he's all right. And he's on the sideline with 4 personal fouls.
Looks like Mississippi State's come out with a little bit more energy. Paul attacked the ball, attacking the basket on 2 occasions, and really going after that ball defensively.
DJ Jeffries struggling at the offensive end, looking for opportunities, working hard at the defensive end. There's Todd Golden, one of 6 new head coaches in the SEC, if you include Mike White, going from Florida to Georgia. 3 very successful years at University of San Francisco, 24 wins last year, and got the San Francisco Dons back into the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1998. Welcome to the SEC.
Well, that's quite an accomplishment, though, because that's a San Francisco job. It's a hard job.
Yes.
Battling Brigham Young, Gonzaga, St. Mary's. Quite an accomplishment.
Shot clock. Oh, throw it up and in. Kugel, are you kidding me? They'll take a look at it, as they should. And the Florida players, they maybe are going to get bailed out. And Todd Golden not happy at all about the offensive execution. Shared it well, but this was a very poor possession.
That looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Very, very, very nice play design there, Paul.
That's the 6th three-pointer of the game so far on 13 attempts, well above their season average. And yep, it does indeed. Confirmed by crew chief Pat Adams. Anthony Jordan also working this game tonight along with Josue Nieves. The officials tonight.
Those types of things drive you crazy.
Absolutely.
Your defense is good. It's active. You're getting a hand on the ball. So you got to fight through it. You got to keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you've gotten this game back to where it's manageable. You got to keep attacking downhill, moving the ball if you're Mississippi State, and being hard-nosed defensively.
Jeffries sets his feet. Three-pointer on the way off the back of the iron. Long rebound. Nice play by Davis. Reed looking for 3. Castleton has it stripped. Davis another 3.
Wow.
getting some very good looks. Just cannot get the ball to fall.
You got to give it to them, man. They're battling.
Four to shoot. Jeffries trying to get inside of Castleton. Outside to Reed, and that will not count. That is a shot clock violation. And good work defensively by Florida and by Mississippi State. Boy, did they get on the offensive glass.
See, I like that at the end of the shot clock. They didn't have enough time to do it, but I like Tolu Smith in the pick and roll so they can get Jeffries or get some of these guards going downhill. They're having a hard time when they're just passing the ball around the perimeter and getting that downhill drive, that penetration. So maybe they can get Florida in some rotations, get some easy baskets, get some offensive rebounding opportunities off the miss.
Mississippi State cannot buy a three-pointer. Richard step back, not there. That was left wide open by a very good three-point shooter. Mississippi State 0 for 8 from outside the arc. On the other side, Florida 6 for 14. Backdoor cut, nowhere to go. That's a poor possession.
Nothing there. Tolu's got to keep that ball and pass it back out to the perimeter. There's nothing there for Reed.
100%. There was no space, nowhere to go. Castleton fighting through contact. Good job by Smith, number 1 in white.
A little double team there by Mississippi State. Castleton, first time in the game, didn't recognize it and make the pass.
What a good block that time by number 5, Richard, coming from the weak side. Jones getting in deep, throws it up and in, and it comes back out. How did that rattle out?
Oh, looked like he was going to get an early Christmas present. That thing went all the way down.
There's the screen and roll again. That ball dropped inside to Tolu Smith. Castleton said he didn't get a piece. The officials thought otherwise.
Now, they're not executing it. They're not finishing those pick and roll plays. But you can see every time they get Tolu in that pick and roll, they're getting something going to the basket. They're getting some kind of deep penetration. Eventually, they're going to finish those.
Sean Jones Jr., 6'5", 200-pound freshman out of Houston, Texas, wearing number 30. Used sparingly. Chris Jans looking for some offense. Jumping in the air with nowhere to go. Good defense by Florida.
Castleton's presence right there causing a turnover.
Good job by Davis. Turned it over at one end, came back with a steal at the other.
Well, they got to get attacked right here.
Nice offense, but has that rattle out, staying with it, and rattles out again. Tolu Smith, look at the frustration on his face. A lid on the basket for the young man right now. Tolu Smith, 6'11", redshirt senior out of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Will Richard picks up his first personal foul.
Really like what he's doing. Patient here, but I just think right here at the end, it's just a little quick and it's a little bit of a push. And again, and right there, also, I mean, he's got to slow down and finish the end of his shot a little bit more. And that's easier said than done because of the presence, again, of Castleton.
1 for 4 from the free throw line. Remember coming in. Free throw shooting for Chris Jans and Mississippi State, mostly because of Tolu Smith and also DJ Jeffries, but coming in, Tolu Smith was 18 for 45. So now 19 for 49 from the free throw line.
When I watch him, it looks like just right at the end, Paul, he's just got a little hitch, a little hesitation instead of just letting it go. Did much better on that one.
Yep, agree with you completely. He will go to the sideline, replaced by Will McNair Jr. Came over with Chris Jans. Chris Jans, 3 very good years at New Mexico State. 3 NCAA tournament appearances. Would have been 4 except for the COVID year. Before he got the job here replacing Ben Howland.
They got a good one here at Mississippi State, I can promise you. That guy can coach.
Started the season at 11-0, lost their last non-conference game to Drake, and then have so far played the toughest SEC conference schedule. Castleton, another three-pointer on the way. The lead is 9. Had the mismatch down inside if you want it. McNair working against number 5, Richard. Oh, Moore got away with a hook. Oh, they're going to count the basket. Wow, I don't know if we can see that again. We'll take a look at this maybe on the other side. Shaquille Moore maybe got away with a little hookage right here, but it's a basket for Mississippi State, and they're back within 7. Florida had a 7-0 run, and here's Shaq Moore getting down inside for a little bit of hookage there on Richard, but it'll look to complete the 3-point play.
And you can see, Paul, the official on the baseline was on the other side of the hook. If he would have been more underneath the basket, he's just out of position and didn't see it. Clearly a hook. Mississippi State got a gift there.
Shaq Moore, who had a career-high 20 points the other night in the loss to Tennessee. Tough schedule once again for Mississippi State. You look at who they've had to play coming into this one. Alabama, pretty good team from what I understand. Tennessee twice. A much improved Georgia team. That is a really good basketball team, although they lost at home today to Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And at Auburn. Look at that. Toughest schedule so far. Welcome to the SEC, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, good news, bad news. Getting a lot of those out of the way.
Shaq Moore does complete the 3-point play, and this is the closest at 6 points that Mississippi State has been in a long time.
They like this, trying to get a little pressure going, see if they can convert some turnovers or quick shots, get some transition going.
Trey Bonham wearing number 2 on the floor now for Florida. The Gators at 10-8 and 3-3 in conference. Mississippi State 12-6, 1-5 so far in the SEC. A rare miss out of the corner. Kowacie Reeves, number 14, now on the floor for Florida. Had a very good look. McNair bullying his way in, and good finish.
And you talked about it, Paul. You were talking to me about it, about if the guy gets up on that left shoulder, and McNair scored twice over the left shoulder. Castleton cheats a little bit, drop step, left hand, nice move.
Good strip down inside, but it comes to Castleton, and boy, is it physical. These teams are battling.
You gotta like this. Good positioning, takes his time, gives him a hit, spins off it. Good balance, good footwork.
Deshaun Davis picked up his second personal foul. That was really nice looking offense. Castleton tried to absorb the blow, lost his spot down on the block, and then good drop finish with his left hand that time by Will McNair Jr. out of Philadelphia.
Castleton's got to do a little bit more work earlier defensively and get these big guys of Mississippi State away from the basket a little bit. Can't let them get that deep.
4-point game after at one point Mississippi State trailed by 16. Reeves thought about the 3. Floater, oh, tough shot. Really tough shot because McNair came over to give support.
Well, that's about as tough as they get. I mean, coming into a 7-footer, one-legged floater, nice shot.
It's going to be a foul from behind. No question on Bonham, number 2, his first.
Reeves brings a little with Fudge being hurt and Fudge being out. It's kind of an offense for defense thing. Reeves is going to bring him a little better three-point shooting, a little better guy that can get into the lane and score. Going to lose some defensive rebound and some length.
14 fouls now on Florida. 14:08 remaining, 20 on the shot clock. Good recovery that time by Kowacie Reeves.
Well, he doesn't look like a defensive liability there, does
No,
he?
he does not. Oh, he left his feet a couple of times, and Shaq Moore continuing to look very, very comfortable in rhythm offensively.
Shaq kept pump faking him, and pump faking him. Finally got him to bite, to get by him and get the shot.
Got him off the floor about half a dozen times.
Looked like he was on a yo-yo, looked on a jumper.
Bonham down the lane looking for the finish. Castleton battling. McNair takes the rebound. Shaq Moore now with 9. Moore lost the handle. Just came around the corner. Ball got out of his grasp a little bit, so another turnover for Mississippi State. Been pretty good in that area.
Man, I tell you, you gotta love this right here. I mean, just ball fake and then a little pull up under control. Doesn't go into the shot blocker. Nice play by Shaq Moore.
He'll go to the sideline. This is the closest Mississippi State has been since 12-7.
This press has energized Mississippi State. It's gotten them going.
That was very, very close to a backcourt violation by Bonham.
The press has maybe not generated as many turnovers, but it's taken them out of their rhythm offensively. It's hurried them up.
McNair is doing a good job at both ends of the floor.
Ooh.
Feet got tangled. Crowd doesn't like it. Good call by the officials. It was a foul, but there has been a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen blood a couple times tonight. we've seen young students on dates holding hands that have had a little more contact than that.
Castleton to the line, the reigning SEC Player of the Week. Monday night, SEC Inside grants you an all-access pass to the Kentucky women's basketball team at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, followed by the South Carolina men's team. You get never-before-seen footage and sound from players and coaches. A real behind-the-scenes look right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Back with Olympic gold medalist and NBA champion Joe Kleine. I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks so much for joining us as we close out yet another very important, very long, busy day of SEC basketball. Jatobo back on, 6'11", 300 pounds. And finally a three-point make, and it's the freshman Jones out of Houston.
Good job by McNair. He's been effective down low. They sent somebody to help. Kicks it out to a wide open, comfortable shot by Jones. Good looking shot by the freshman.
First triple on the night so far from Mississippi State. Listen to this crowd. Off the side of the iron. Good rebound taken by Matthews, number 4.
And again, the Mississippi State pressure has sped up Florida. They're shooting it quicker. They're not probing and getting what they were getting earlier in the game.
Davis. Back-to-back threes. We got a tie ball game.
Mississippi State making back-to-back threes. I feel like I'm watching Curry and Thompson for Golden State. Just don't see it.
Well, Reeves answers once again. 7th three-point make, and Chris Jans at the other end. Cannot believe it. Look at the 2 threes. Can you imagine if it's the difference in the game? That three-point shot and then the other one coming from near midcourt could be the decider.
Absolutely. I mean, you play good defense. The ball's bouncing around, but State, an 0-for in the first half. Not anymore. Making a run.
Storylines, Texas A&M, what's happening in the Big 12, TCU again today, a big win over Kansas. That was at Kansas. We were tied at 40 apiece. Now after the three-point make, Kawasi Reeves against the shot clock, 43-40 advantage, 11:40 remaining in this one.
Little press coming out here by Florida. Again, both teams trying to generate offense. Mississippi State's really done a great job in the second half, making the adjustment of turning up the heat defensively, speeding Florida up a little bit. It's got them some good looks in transition and in the half court and got them back in the game.
Tolu Smith back on after Will McNair Jr. did a very nice job for Mississippi State at both ends of the floor. The biggest lead of the night were the Florida Gators at 16. I think I said they had a 16-point run. It was at 11. Got to get into the lane, got to shoot it. That's a poor possession. That's just poor execution and a very frustrated Chris Jans. Got the ball in the freshman's hands. He'd made a 3, but that was just not a good possession for Mississippi State. We'll step aside. Media timeout once again. The Gators' lead is down to 3. Absolutely blessed to represent our country at the '84 Olympic Games. And we both joked we had outstanding teammates. No question about that. You had a couple of pretty good ones. There's Joe Klein, member of the 1984 men's basketball team. There I am on the left just a few years ago.
Look at you, man.
Well, that was a lifetime ago. That was a lifetime ago. But look at the players who are uniquely in your company. Players who have won an Olympic championship and an NBA championship. Look at this list. Pippen, Jordan, Bird, Johnson, Bryant, Bill Russell, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Manu Ginobili, Casey Jones, Oscar Robertson, and my idol, Jerry West.
Yeah.
You must sleep very well at night knowing those guys are saying,
yeah, I'm with Joe Klein.
I'm with Joe Klein.
Not what you know, who you know. I like to call my gold medal and my championship ring my Michael Jordan collection. I think he helped me obtain those things just a little bit.
Yep, same for me in 1984.
Very grateful. Very grateful.
Castleton, 15-footer, shot clock winding down, charger block. That's going to be a charge. Castleton just picked up his 3rd personal.
Now you talk about him going to the NBA, okay? The shot he turned down right there, as you know, Paul, that's the one, the big nowadays. You know, even when I played, you got to stick that. You got to raise up, and you got to shoot that with confidence.
15-foot unguarded jump shot. Just take it in rhythm. He showed us 3-point range in the first half.
No, he can hit that
absolutely,
shot.
Absolutely.
Little zone here by Florida.
And some foul trouble. Castleton picked up his 3rd, and remember Alex Fudge. We don't know about his health and possibility to return after hitting his head hard on the floor. Nice kick into the corner.
Oh.
And another 3-pointer. 0 for in the first half, and now Davis racks up the 3rd for Mississippi State, and we're tied again at 43.
This team starts making a little bit of shots, showing a little bit of offensive rhythm with their ability to defend. It's a dangerous team.
Jatobo and Castleton on the floor now together. Here comes Matthews. Good decision to reset. At least for a moment. Davis again off the back of the iron. Tolu Smith trying to keep that ball alive. He's on his wallet. A chance for Jones and Florida to run. Castleton looking for the lob.
Oh, nice catch.
Really good work. Tipping to himself and staying with the play for Colin Castleton.
Looked like it was going to be an ill-timed tip that might be turned into a bad shot. Had the wherewithal to come down with it, go back up with it.
Castleton now with 11 to go, along with a couple of assists and 3 rebounds. Jeffries, nice unselfish play. Jeffries looking to Tolu Smith, tied again.
Downhill driver gets by Reeves. Reeves is locked lead. Straight line drive, easy 2.
We talked an awful lot about Mississippi State and how they needed to get back into this game. Mission accomplished. Now the adjustment for Florida.
And now Florida's got to get back to what they were doing. They got to slow down a little bit offensively, get the ball into their playmakers. Castleton, see if they'll do the double team, play out of the double team.
Boy, that's a tough shot against the clock. Jatobo throwing that in over his left shoulder.
Again, not a big score, but again, big guy getting deep position. Good things are going to happen.
Mississippi State shooting 50% so far in the second half. That ball deflected, and it'll be Mississippi State's basketball. 8:26 remaining. Plenty of time to shoot. 47-45 is the lead. Biggest lead on the night was 16 for Florida. They led it by 9 at the half. Chris Jan's team went on. How important was that 7-0 run to close out the first half?
Well, it made it manageable. Made things manageable and got you a little bit feeling good going into halftime so you could come out with some energy.
Smith looking for some room along the baseline. Still time. Jeffries, 3-pointer off the back of the iron. Contact there, no doubt about it. Matthews will help up the Florida Gators. Number 11, Kyle Lofton, the 6'3" grad out of Hillside, New Jersey, transfer from St. Bonaventure.
Like the drive by Matthews. You got 2 big, long drinks of water in there. You don't want to try to go up, but he finds Jeffries in the corner for a good look. Good offense, just got to knock it down.
Matthews got to be careful here. Not a big-time scorer, but he is the absolute soul of this team. He now has, we thought he had 3. He does have 2 personal fouls. That's good for Mississippi State. 8 minutes left. Bulldogs showing some zone. Richard, expert three-point shooter. You gotta hedge to his side.
Yeah, I mean, and good, just decisive, quick ball movement by Florida, and ready down and ready to shoot, knocks it in.
Richard now with a dozen, 4 of 5 from outside the arc. Moore short arm that one a little bit. Rebound taken by number 5, Richard.
Now starting to get into that Florida rhythm now. They're getting Mississippi State in half court offensively and coming down and working what they do offensively.
Big response by Florida. Just after I asked you, Joe, we were tied, and then a 7-0 run by Castleton Richard and the Florida Gators to retake the lead. 7:17 left. Florida on top 52-45. We'll step aside now. Time for Mississippi State to answer. Once again, can they do it at home? All-State, is it 1 moment, 2, or if you're Mississippi State, it's 3, because they finally started knocking down some shots.
Well, with their inability to make the 3 here lately, especially in the first half, it felt like mayhem in here when those 2 shots went down, and then you knock in another one, because those 3-pointers felt like 10-pointers to this crowd, the way they've been struggling shooting the ball. But again, kudos to Mississippi State for hanging in there, getting the pace going. You know, that's how they're going to score. I mean, if they have to set up every time down the floor and play against a set Florida defense, I don't see how they can score. They've got to get this thing with a little bit of mayhem.
Well, we just had a moment. Maybe we'll have another or two. Well done. Well done. Moore wide open from three-point range off the front of the iron, and a chance for Jones and Florida, for Lofton to come out and run. Really good consecutive possessions for Florida just when they needed it. Tied at 45 moments ago. Now the lead is 7. Yeah, why not? Castleton wide open. You said, Joe, you got to take that shot.
He's thinking too much. The guy's 3 feet off him shooting.
Nice pass down inside to McNair. Fumbled to lose the opportunity. Moore is a very clever offensive player. Can't get that shot to fall, but he will earn a couple of free throws with 6:32 remaining.
And again, that's not fast break basketball, but again, off the miss, the ball's pushed. Guys are running to space. It's moving. So again, you're getting Florida in a little bit of a closeout situation, defense rotating, and it enables guys like Shaq Moore to get in there and drive, get fouled, throw the ball into McNair. I just think they have a better flow when it's a little quicker.
The Vandy men's team a winner today. Nice victory for Vanderbilt at Georgia. It is part of our SEC Network's Tuesday night doubleheader next week. They'll host Oscar Tshiebwe, and Kentucky winners of 3 in a row are the Kentucky Wildcats at 9 Eastern, 8 Central at historic Memorial Gymnasium in Nashville. Of course, the Commodores now 10-9, 3-3 in the SEC. So this is obviously an important one for them as well, once again, as for Kentucky.
Close games. Free throws.
Yes. And speaking of those numbers, Florida not exactly lighting it up. There haven't been many, which is good for us. Yeah. Jones will go to the sideline. A little bit dinged there with a lower body injury. 4 of 8 is Florida from the free throw line. And Mississippi State, which has really struggled, the Bulldogs 5 of 9. Full court pressure again.
Again, can you just get Florida sped up a little bit? To where maybe they forget about getting the ball to Castleton.
Now look out for Richard, the expert three-point shooter on the weak side. Castleton eyeing him now. Nice. Good spin move down inside. Yeah, he's really mad at himself for not finishing that.
That was a great move. Just got to finish it.
Moore again sets his feet wide open, can't get the bounce. McNair had position down inside. What good hard work for McNair.
And that kid's playing a whale of a game tonight. I mean, he's really giving them something off the bench.
McNair now with 8 points to go along with 4 rebounds. A couple of assists as well. Boy, Lofton just bullied his way right to the front of the rim, working against Reed.
That was just big boy basketball right there. He just backed him down in the lane and went up over the top.
Lofton now with half a dozen. Castleton leading the way offensively with 13. Matthews spins it up and in. One dribble from about 20 feet out on the left baseline.
He was underneath the backboard and on the other side of the basket and somehow got that in. That was a great shot.
6 points now for Matthews, who does so many things for this Mississippi State team and program, quite frankly. 9 rebounds. 4-point game. Mississippi State 1-5 so far in conference. Kugel, the 3-point shot has been the absolute lifesaver so far for Florida.
Boy, he has knocked down some killers if you're a Mississippi State fan.
Cam Matthews again working along the baseline. 6'7" junior out of Olive Branch, Mississippi. Look at that.
Yeah, and if you're Kugel and you're playing against a guy like this, you can't go for that steal. He's a guy that scores at the rim, at the rim, at the rim. You got to make him try to do something over the top. You don't get that steal, that's what happens.
Florida now 9 of 20 from outside the arc. They hit 5 out of their first 10 and have just continued their hot shooting. They shoot 33% from outside the arc so far on the year, 7th best in the SEC, so way above their season average. Kugel's getting some looks, and Will Richard has been the main culprit if you're a Mississippi State fan, going 4 for 5 from distance. Difference in the game.
Yeah, and I just think down the stretch we're going to see, you know, can Mississippi State get some things in transition or get some things in a little bit more of a higher pace, and then can Florida play through Castleton and knock down shots?
Mississippi State has had a couple of good looks. Hate that shot. That was really poor judgment that time. Time score in that situation.
Yeah, one pass. You know, if you're feeling it, if you're on a roll, absolutely. But that's just a terrible shot. You got to swing it, try to get people going downhill so you can get them in rotation. So when you get a miss, you can get an offensive rebound. What does Florida do? Come down, give it to big fella, they get fouled.
McNair picked up his 3rd personal foul. Castleton probably should have thought better of being so unselfish and put that ball at the rim and put a little pressure on the officials. 7-point advantage. The lead has been once in the first half at 16. Here's Castleton. Reeves, another 3. 10 threes on the night.
It's the hockey assist by Castleton. He doesn't make the pass for the assist, but he draws the double team. Now you're in rotation. One more to the corner, 3-point shot.
Tied at 45, so it's a 15-5 run now for Florida, leading it by 10. Matthews again has that shot rejected. Look at him battle. Look at him battle at the rim.
He's a man-child. I don't think Florida has anybody that can stay in front of him. And he can kind of do what Castleton does for them on the offensive end of the floor.
Boy, Florida barely got out of this trap right in front of us. 8 to shoot. Florida's made 8 out of their last 10 shots. Shot clock now down. Hockey assist again out to Lofton. Off the front of the iron.
You got to push this, man. You got to push it. Boy, they're tired. You got some guys tired from Mississippi State. Matthews got to suck it up and run.
McNair going one-on-one, trying to get to the front of the rim. Drop step and got the basket.
Man, I'm telling you, he has been impressive tonight with his patience and the way he's going right at Castleton. And again, Castleton's giving him a lot of space and letting him get deep.
Challenge by McNair. Yeah, he's angry at his teammates for exposing him like that. He saved a basket at the rim. Good job by number 13. McNair now has done a really nice job helping to lead this comeback and get Mississippi State back into it. Now with 10 points to go along with 5 rebounds. We'll step aside. 2:25 remaining. Florida still on top. 60-54 here in Starkville. All-State, is it 1 moment, 2, or if you're Mississippi State, it's 3, because they finally started knocking down some shots.
Well, with their inability to make the 3 here lately, especially in the first half, it felt like mayhem in here when those 2 shots went down, and then you knock in another one, because those 3-pointers felt like 10-pointers to this crowd, the way they've been struggling shooting the ball. But again, kudos to Mississippi State for hanging in there, getting the pace going. You know, that's how they're going to score. I mean, if they have to set up every time down the floor and play against a set Florida defense, I don't see how they can score. They've got to get this thing with a little bit of mayhem.
Well, we just had a moment. Maybe we'll have another or two. Well done. Well done. Moore wide open from 3-point range off the front of the iron, and a chance for Jones and Florida, for Lofton to come out and run. Really good consecutive possessions for Florida just when they needed it. Tied at 45 moments ago. Now the lead is 7. Yeah, why not? Castleton wide open. You said, Joe, you got to take that shot.
He's thinking too much. The guy's 3 feet off him shooting.
Nice pass down inside to McNair. Fumbled to lose the opportunity. Moore is a very clever offensive player. Can't get that shot to fall, but he will earn a couple of free throws with 6:32 remaining.
And again, that's not fast break basketball, but again, off the miss, the ball's pushed, guys are running to space, it's moving. So again, you're getting Florida in a little bit of a closeout situation, defense rotating, and it enables guys like Shaq Moore to get in there and drive, get fouled, throw the ball to McNair. I just think they have a better flow when it's a little quicker.
The Vandy men's team a winner today. Nice victory for Vanderbilt at Georgia. Is part of our SEC Network's Tuesday night doubleheader next week. They'll host Oscar Tshiebwe, and Kentucky winners of 3 in a row are the Kentucky Wildcats at 9 Eastern, 8 Central at historic Memorial Gymnasium in Nashville. Of course, the Commodores now 10-9, 3-3 in the SEC. So this is obviously an important one for them as well, once again, as for Kentucky.
Close games, free throws.
Yes. And speaking of those numbers, Florida not exactly lighting it up. There haven't been many, which is good for us. Yeah. Jones will go to the sideline. A little bit dinged there with a lower body injury. 4 of 8 is Florida from the free throw line. And Mississippi State, which has really struggled, the Bulldogs 5 of 9. Full court pressure again.
Again, can you just get Florida sped up a little bit? To where maybe they forget about getting the ball to Castleton.
Now look out for Richard, the expert 3-point shooter on the weak side. Castleton eyeing him now. Nice. Good spin move down inside. Yeah, he's really mad at himself for not finishing that.
That was a great move. Just got to finish it.
Moore again sets his feet wide open, can't get the bounce. McNair had position down inside. What good hard work from McNair.
And that kid's playing a whale of a game tonight. I mean, he's really giving them something off the bench.
McNair now with 8 points to go along with 4 rebounds. A couple of assists as well. Boy, Lofton just bullied his way right to the front of the rim, working against Reed.
That was just big boy basketball right there. He just backed him down in the lane and went up over the top.
Lofton now with half a dozen. Castleton leading the way offensively with 13. Matthews spins it up and in. One dribble from about 20 feet out on the left baseline.
He was underneath the backboard and on the other side of the basket and somehow got that in. That was a great shot.
6 points now for Matthews, who does so many things for this Mississippi State team and program, quite frankly. 9 rebounds. 4-point game. Mississippi State 1-5 so far in conference. Kugel, the 3-point shot has been the absolute lifesaver so far for Florida.
Boy, he has knocked down some killers if you're a Mississippi State fan.
Cam Matthews again working along the baseline. 6'7" junior out of Olive Branch, Mississippi. Look at that.
Yeah, and if you're Kugel and you're playing against a guy like this, you can't go for that steal. He's a guy that scores at the rim, at the rim, at the rim. You got to make him try to do something over the top. You don't get that steal, that's what happens.
Florida now 9 of 20 from outside the arc. They hit 5 out of their first 10 and have just continued their hot shooting. They shoot 33% from outside the arc so far on the year, 7th best in the SEC, so way above their season average. Kugel's getting some looks, and Will Richard has been the main culprit if you're a Mississippi State fan, going 4 for 5 from distance. Difference in the game.
Yeah, and I just think down the stretch we're going to see, you know, can Mississippi State get some things in transition or get some things in a little bit more of a higher pace, and then can Florida play through Castleton and knock down shots?
Mississippi State has had a couple of good looks. Hate that shot. That was really poor judgment that time. Time score in that situation.
Yeah, one pass. You know, if you're feeling it, if you're on a roll, absolutely. But that's just a terrible shot. You got to swing it, try to get people going downhill so you can get them in rotation. So when you get a miss, you can get an offensive rebound. What does Florida do? Come down, give it to big fella, they get fouled.
McNair picked up his 3rd personal foul. Castleton probably should have thought better of being so unselfish and put that ball at the rim and put a little pressure on the officials. 7-point advantage. The lead has been once in the first half at 16. Here's Castleton. Reeves, another 3. 10 threes on the night.
It's the hockey assist by Castleton. He doesn't make the pass for the assist, but he draws the double team. Now you're in rotation. One more to the corner, 3-point shot.
Tied at 45, so it's a 15-5 run now for Florida, leading it by 10. Matthews again has that shot rejected. Look at him battle. Look at him battle at the rim.
He's a man-child. I don't think Florida has anybody that can stay in front of him. And he can kind of do what Castleton does for them on the offensive end of the floor.
Boy, Florida barely got out of this trap right in front of us. 8 to shoot. Florida's made 8 out of their last 10 shots. Shot clock now down. Hockey assist again out to Lofton. Off the front of the iron.
You got to push this, man. You got to push it. Boy, they're tired. You got some guys tired from Mississippi State. Matthews got to suck it up and run.
McNair going one-on-one, trying to get to the front of the rim. Drop step and got the basket.
Man, I'm telling you, he has been impressive tonight with his patience and the way he's going right at Castleton. And again, Castleton's giving him a lot of space and letting him get deep.
Challenged by McNair. Yeah, he's angry at his teammates for exposing him like that. He saved a basket at the rim. Good job by number 13. McNair now has done a really nice job helping to lead this comeback and get Mississippi State back into it. Now with 10 points to go along with 5 rebounds. We'll step aside. 2:25 remaining. Florida still on top. 60-54 here in Starkville. Basketball triple header that starts with these 2 games right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Kentucky squares off against Mississippi State at 1 Eastern. Then Georgia takes on Texas A&M. We're so happy and proud to be associated with the We Back Pat initiative that brings awareness to the Pat Summitt Foundation and Alzheimer's disease. participate and support Pat Summitt, one of the great legends of the game of basketball. Back with Joe Klein, I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks so much for joining us. 16-point lead, long time ago for Florida. A couple of key possessions, tied at 45. They go on a 7-0 run to take the advantage, but still time for Mississippi State, now trailing 60-54. Mississippi State 1-5 in conference. Florida, after the loss on Wednesday night, 54-52 to Texas A&M. They're now 3-3 in conference. Florida's 3 losses in conference by a grand total of 8 points. Auburn by 3, Texas A&M the first time at home by 3, and then A&M in College Station by 2.
Yeah, so this type of game is nothing new if you're Florida.
Difference right now has been 3-point shooting, 10 of 22 for Florida compared to 3 of 16. 21 points behind the arc, the difference. Mississippi State taking too much time. A lot of the crowd certainly thinks so. It's going to be a bump on the perimeter. Let's look at the team foul situation. Florida now over the limit. So it'll be 1-1 for Shaquille Moore.
You're just kind of in that quandary. You got to get good looks. You got to get points. You got to take that first good look you get. You want to get it sooner than that because as you know, time is of the essence.
Time and score situation. You got the best quick hitter that Chris Jans has on his index card.
You don't have time to work it and work it and work it.
Must have free throws. First up and good for Moore.
Well, the one guy that they like to see at the line is at the line.
15 of 16 in conference play so far coming in. Beautiful stroke. Both free throws good. 2:04 remaining. 5-point game.
What you don't want to do is bail them out with a foul or something. Make them make a shot, get the rebound, push it. Be solid.
Mississippi State also out of fouls. Where does Florida want to go with this?
He's drawing the double team. Let him touch it. See what Mississippi does. Play through him.
15-footer on the way. Mississippi State, the way he has not been shooting that ball. Very happy to see him take it. Davis, don't jump in the air. Matthews bailed him out with his quickness. Davis knocks it down. 3-point make for Deshaun Davis. 1:28 left. Timeout called by Mississippi State. And it's a one-possession game.
And again, transition. You got the miss. You got the ball up the floor. You got lucky with a bad pass that you were able to get back. But again, you can drive it, kick it, get a wide open look. Big time shot by Davis.
Davis now with 9. He's hit half of his 6 3-pointers. Remember, Mississippi State was 0 for 9 in the opening half, so they go 4 for 8 in the second from 3-point range.
And again, the pace, not frantic.
Not at all.
But you got to get it up the floor. You got to get it moving, which they did. Castleton's got to shoot that ball there a little quicker and with a little more confidence. They're backing off him. Raise up and shoot it. I also would like to see them, instead of getting the ball up high like that, where they can just sag off him and not have to double team him. I like him in the post ball. Every time he's been in the post tonight, they've had to send somebody. He's kicked it out, and they've done a wonderful job of making that extra pass to get an open look.
Once again, Will Richard doing the best job from outside the arc. And as we talked about, Colin Castleton is a very, very willing and good passer, has a really nice feel for the game. The 119th meeting between Florida and Mississippi State. Only meeting so far on the year. The Gators had lost 3 in a row to Mississippi State going into last year's game in Gainesville, but that was won by the Gators 80-72. 1:28 left. Both teams are in the bonus.
The house is rocking, Paul. We got guys in banana suits. Got King Tut over here getting after it. Place is up for grabs, baby.
And you're here.
Amen.
They don't listen to you, Joe. They've got him out 18 feet from the basket.
It's just they're not going to double team him from there.
High ball screen. McNair comes over to help. Reeves out of the corner. Nice play by McNair.
Push it, push it.
Helped on the high ball screen and went back and got the board. Mississippi State desperate. Yep, long season, a lot of season to play, but desperate for a win.
I like this. He's strong with a little guy on him. Oh, no.
Cameron Matthews would love to pull the string back on that one. I don't know why he's throwing the ball to McNair 26 feet from the basket, but a very poor pass, poor decision out of bounds.
And I don't like him backing down. I like him facing up and driving. He can see things better. He's not a back to the basket guy. He's a facing up guy, drive downhill. That's where he makes his plays.
Yeah, he's got a wonderful first step. 44.2 seconds remaining. Remember, both teams in the bonus.
Both teams struggling at the free throw line, so you can maybe knock them down.
Really good trap. Possession arrow favors Florida. The officials, I think, are going to go look at this one. There's the crew chief, Pat Adams, coming over and drawing his colleagues, Anthony Jordan and Josue Nieves, to the scorer's table to make sure that they get this one right.
And I think either whichever way this goes, I think it's going to help Mississippi State because Matthews is gassed right now, so he's getting a little bit of a blow. No, that went off Matthews.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
This should be quick.
Yeah, the baseline, a pretty good third defender.
Well, anytime you're pressed, you teach it and you coach it, and you don't want to catch that thing down towards the baseline or especially over in the corner. But it just seems like the more frantic and the more desperate you get, everybody starts running to the ball and gets down there on that baseline where trap and turnover possibilities are much higher.
Something to watch for. Remember our conversation with Todd Golden, the first-year head coach for Florida. He thought that his Gators were way too tentative against Texas A&M's pressure. And he thought maybe he had overcoached his team because they turned it over 20 times in the home loss against A&M. Maybe look right now for Florida to really attack this pressure.
I think that's a great point, Paul, because, both A&M and Mississippi State attack you defensively, and you have to take your opportunities. You've got to attack them back and make them pay when it presents itself.
61-59. Well, Richard Holding. Timeout. Wow. It was going to be a 10-second violation. Because the count doesn't restart when the ball was deflected out of bounds.
Good timeout there because
really aware.
They had one timeout. They had 1 second left before it's going to be a 10-second count. Now it's the ball here in the backcourt, and I do believe it is. So now they have 1 second to get this ball over the half-court line, or it's going to be a turnover.
That was really interesting because the ball was in the air from Richard as time was winding down. Here's another look. Castleton inbounds.
And again, you can see
taking too long.
Not aware of the situation. You got to catch that ball and get up the floor.
Yeah, but look at that pass. That went over the head of the Florida player. They're moving into the offensive end. No possession, and yet the timeout was granted. That was a huge decision and call.
Yeah, Will Richard caught that ball over there, and he thought he had 10 seconds.
Well, what did I say? They were going to attack the press? No, he put it in reverse. No timeouts for Florida. So probably a lot of pressure on the inbounder right now.
Got about almost 13-second, 14-second difference in the shot clock. So, again, this has to be something going to the front court if you're Florida.
If Florida does successfully get the ball into the front court, do you foul immediately?
Yes, the way they're shooting free throws tonight, I do.
Castleton at 6'11" to inbound. That's it. That should be a backcourt violation.
Yeah, obviously that's not in play. We must have had it wrong. I thought for sure that they had to.
Well, they reset on the timeout.
That's right. Okay.
As opposed to the deflection.
You're right.
That's knowing the rules.
Does he do it again? Oh, push it, push it, push it.
Tie with a 2, win it with a 3. Jeffries steps inside, lays it up, not there. Offensive rebound, not there again, and Florida's going to hang on and win.
2 point-blank shots by Mississippi State right at the rim.
And really smart and on point by the Florida coaching staff. Calling the timeout, knowing that the time out of the backcourt resets, and the three-point line. What a gutsy comeback by Mississippi State, and they fall short. 61-59.
You got Jeffries going downhill. You got your big, strong linebacker with the offensive rebound. Just couldn't finish it.
So Florida improves to 4-3 so far on the conference season. Bounce back from yet another, I guess you could call it a heartbreaking loss at Texas A&M, although A&M is awfully good this year, Joe. Your thoughts so far on the game? Mississippi State trailed by as many as 16.
Well, we thought we were going to have a rock fight, and we did. You had 2 teams that were attacking, struggling to shoot from the 3 if you're Mississippi State, but you get on a little roll in the second half. But I think Florida did a nice job keeping their composure, playing through Castleton, making the extra pass when they needed to, and they knocked down some big-time threes to stave off a very determined, tough Mississippi State squad.
Florida, 10 threes on the night. They've made as many as 13 so far on the year. So they outscore Mississippi State by 7 threes, 21 points from outside the arc. And the tough go continues for Mississippi State. They fall to 12-7, now 1-6 in conference. Florida now over 500, staying right in the middle of the pack. Conference led by Alabama, and then a whole slew of teams. Auburn, Tennessee, etc. at 5-1. Thanks so much for joining us. For Joe Klein and our entire crew here in Starkville, thanks so much for joining us. Florida wins it barely, 61-59. Good night, everybody.